As we all know, summer is a great time to tackle that home maintenance to-do list. I'm sure it's growing ever larger as we head now into the summer weekends, but figuring out where to start can be a challenge. Joining us now to help out with some great ideas to save you time, money, and frustration, I'm sure that's high on the list of a lot of people, is home care expert at Angie, Bailey Carson. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about maintenance projects that should be a priority this summer. Are there any projects that should not be delayed, and what should be the priority for this summer?
Yes, I would think about projects where something small can turn into something much larger and be really costly in the long run. So if you have a small leak in your roof, go ahead, nip it in the bud. You don't want that to cause water damage that could be very costly to repair or even require a roof replacement in the future. Similarly, get those gutters and downspouts cleared out. There's probably a lot of debris after the spring and all the showers that we had. So that's a great project to take on if you haven't already. Those things can really save you money down the line. Another project that we always recommend at Angie, because we know based on our cost data that it has a great payback, is weatherproofing. This is going to help you save on your utility bills all year round. And what I mean by weatherproofing is putting caulking around windows or weather stripping around windows and doors. This will keep that AC in this summer, keep the heat in this winter. So a great low cost, relatively simple project to take on that can really help you save.
That's
And
a really
then
good one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say another one is outdoor entertaining. I know everybody is anxious to spend time with friends and family, and we may still be more comfortable doing that outdoors. And here in Virginia, we're having some great weather. So the deck, patio, fencing, these have all been focus areas where we've seen a lot of demand at Angie. So think about restaining, resealing, or repairing any damaged areas. This can help to give those spaces a fresh look and also make them last longer.
The item that you mentioned about the caulking and the weatherproofing, we think so much about heat getting out, but we don't think about when you're having your air conditioning, that cool air getting out. So that's a really good one that I'm sure our audience will prioritize. Let's talk a little bit more about how we should prioritize and budget home maintenance projects. How can we do that?
It really can be a challenge. Those to-do lists are long, and budgeting and prioritizing is something that you do constantly. One good tip we have here is to think about trying to do things a little bit off season. So this can ultimately save you some money because pros are going to be a little bit less busy. And it can also help get a pro in faster than those peak demand times. One job that we see really peak in the fall at Angie is handyman jobs. People are trying to squeeze things in before the winter hits. So if you're already developing a list for a handyman of little things around the house that you'd like to take care of, think about knocking that out this summer because it's probably going to be easier to get someone more quickly and also might save you some money as they're not going to be quite as pressed for time.
Certainly. And if anyone's been paying attention to the news, the home buying market has been exploding over these last few months and year or so. If you are a new homeowner, what's the first project a new homeowner should undertake?
Yes, this is a question I can really relate to. I'm one of those millennial first-time home buyers that bought during the pandemic, and it is a wild market out there. The first project that we took on, which I think is a really smart one, and it's a relatively inexpensive one, which I can say from my own experience and from our cost information at Angie, is getting your locks rekeyed. So you never know who that past owner may have given a key to. And so it certainly helps me rest easier just having that out of the way. And for a few $100 or less, you can get that done. Another thing that we're seeing in conversation with home inspectors is that more and more buyers are having to do the inspections after the closing. The sellers have so much power in this market, but for buyers, it's still really important to get that inspection done because it can help to create that priority list for you as you have the budget to take on other things. So definitely get that home inspection done. And finally, if you have the luxury of a little time between your closing and your move-in, knock out projects like painting, replacing flooring, or any remodeling in a kitchen or bath, because these are much easier and less frustrating to get done when you're not actually living in the home.
Well, let's talk about some of those items. You did mention the painting, which I think is something that I could do as a DIY, but the remodeling or the kitchen repair, even something in the bathroom, probably want to call a professional. So how do you decide when you can DIY or when you should call a pro?
Great question. We have a great tip at Angie. We call it the 3 T's: time, tools, and talent. My husband says I'm a broken record. Every time we think of a new home project, we're very ambitious about doing it ourselves. And then we talk through, all right, do we have the time to do this? Can we really research it and then get it done right? Do we already own the tools we'll need? Because it can be quite expensive to rent or buy any specialty tools required. And then finally, do we have the talent? So once you understand what's involved, are you confident you can get it done right? The worst thing that can happen is that you put money into doing it yourself, and then you put more money into getting someone to come in and fix it if it goes wrong. So think about the 3 T's: time, tools, talent. If the answer to any of those is maybe or no, probably best to call in that pro from the start.
Absolutely. And thanks for you being a pro and joining us. She's the home care expert at Angie. Angie, you know them formerly as Angie's List. Bailey Carson, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll direct all of our audience to Angie.com for more information.
Thank you.